Hey guys, my name is Jillian, and I'm the cataloger and one of the reference librarians at the Newcastle Public Library. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple breeds of guinea pigs and then how to care for them. So we're going to start with my little buddy Fergus. This is Fergus, and he is a white-crested guinea pig. As you can see, he's got the little crest on his head, and he has a tortoiseshell coloring. They can come in many different colors, but he is generally very gentle, very quiet. He has a smooth, soft coat, and he's pretty easy to take care of. He loves being held, and he's usually my TV buddy. So this is Fergus. I'm going to grab my next guinea pig. This is Dougal. He is a Rex guinea pig. Now, unlike Fergus, he has a really short kind of woolly coat. Well, you can see that, but he's not as soft. He's kind of coarse, kind of wiry, but he is very sweet in nature too. They make good pets for kids. I mean, pretty much any of the guinea pigs do, but these first two breeds definitely do because they just love being held and they're very, very gentle. They're very talkative too. This guy talks the whole time you hold him. And his coat coloring is considered to be a golden agouti color. Because as you can see, he looks black, but he's got reddish tips on the end of his hair. So he's kind of two-colored. So this is Dougal. I'm going to grab my last guinea pig. This little guy is Hamish, and he is an Abyssinian. You can tell because he has all these little poops of hair all over him. They're called rosettes. So he's got one on the top of his head, and then like his cheeks puff out. And then he's got this little poof on his butt. And his coloring is kind of like a cream and like what they call a lilac color. It's kind of hard to see, but it's kind of like a grayish brown color. All Abyssinians typically do have a ton of little rosettes, little puffs all over them. And they tend to have what they call attitude. They're not mean at all, they're just very hyperactive. They love to play, they love to run around, and they're super talkative. If I let him out on the floor, he runs around and squeaks the whole time, so you know exactly where he is. So that is the Abyssinian. The time on my tummy. Put him back. Okay. Now, as far as care goes for these guys, they're pretty easy to take care of, but there are a lot of guidelines that you do have to follow so that they stay healthy. They're herd animals, so unlike a hamster, you want to have at least 2 or 3 of them so that they don't get lonely. And then, of course, like if you have a boy, you want to get them another boy, and a girl, if you have a girl, you want to get another girl, or else you're going to end up with a ton of babies. They can get pregnant 4 to 6 weeks old. They typically have like 2 to 4 pups, but they can have up to 8. So if you don't want a ton of guinea pigs, keep the genders the same. When you pick them up, like you might have noticed, you pick them up under their belly and then you support their butt because they have a very fragile spine. And so you want to make sure you support them. Because their spines are so fragile, you can't use like a hamster ball or a hamster wheel, or even like harnesses that they might sell for them, because if they twist their back, they could really hurt themselves. So it's best to just avoid that altogether. As far as food goes, hay is the primary staple of their diet. You want to make sure that they have hay all the time. They typically will eat timothy hay or orchard grass. They do sell them in bags at the pet stores, but If you know somebody who has horses or something, you can get a whole bale for much cheaper. Just the only thing you don't want to feed them is alfalfa hay because it's too high in calcium for adult guinea pigs. For babies and growing and pregnant guinea pigs, you can give them some alfalfa because they need a higher amount of calcium in their diet. They also need vitamin C, which you can get in their pelleted feed, which I use the Oxbow brand. This is what it looks like. And it has the amount of vitamin C that they need in it, but you can also give them all sorts of vegetables. These guys get bell peppers, romaine lettuce. You can give them cilantro, parsley, and they like carrots a lot too, even though carrots are high in sugar, so you have to kind of feed those in moderation. And it's the same with fruit. They can eat pretty much any fruit, you just have to feed it in moderation because of the sugar. And I mean, if you Google any of this stuff, that you can find the do's and don'ts of feeding them. But that's pretty much the general overview of it. They also do make a lot of treats for them that are not good for them. Anything that has dairy, seeds, honey is not good for them. Seeds are a choking hazard, and they're just not supposed to have dairy. So if you avoid feeding those, you'll avoid an unnecessary vet visit. As far as their bedding goes, you can use pine shavings as long as they're kiln dried so that they're not dusty. They make paper bedding, and I use these noodle bath mats that you can get from the dollar store or Big Lots, and then I just change them out once a week and I launder them. And then I clean the poop out of the cage with a designated hand vacuum twice a day, and so that it doesn't get nasty. Some people use fleece blankets too with puppy pads under them to absorb the pee. So there's all sorts of things that you can use for bedding. I do get the question a lot, do they smell? Well, if you don't clean them often enough, yeah, they're going to smell like any other animal. But typically they don't. They're also self-cleaning animals, so bathing is not recommended. Although you can bathe them if they get dirty. Just make sure that you use like an unscented baby shampoo, or they do make guinea pig shampoo. Otherwise, just make sure too that you only have like 2 to 3 inches of water in the tub or the sink or whatever you're going to be using, because they're not swimmers. And as you can see, like they're kind of shaped like potatoes. They can't really lift their head up out of the water all that well. They're very stiff. So yeah, they can inhale water easily, so you don't want to do that. So just try to keep their head and their ears dry as possible, and just kind of wash like their belly and their butts and stuff. So, but typically you don't have to bathe them. They're not too bad with that. Cages is another big thing. Since I have 3, the recommended cage size is 13 square feet, which is a lot larger than most people think. The cages that you typically see in stores are way too small for even one guinea pig. One guinea pig, or even 2, the minimum size of a cage is 8 square feet. They make a really nice one called a Midwest cage. You can find them on Amazon, Walmart. They're about 8 square feet, and you can keep 2 guinea pigs in that pretty well, but the general rule is the more room they have, the better, because they need to run. You don't want one with a bunch of ramps and stuff, because they're not necessarily supposed to be like traveling up and down. They're just supposed to, run around on a flat surface. The one that I have actually is corrugated plastic for the bottom, like the stuff that you make signs out of. And then you can use like the wire cage, or the wire storage grids rather, that kind of clip together that you buy for college or whatever. And then if you use those, you can buy as many of those as possible and make it as big as you want. They're typically, you should keep the room between 65 and 75 degrees. That's ideal for them. You don't want it to be too cold or too hot. They can overheat pretty easily. And then as far as their health goes, they are pretty healthy animals. They can get upper respiratory infections from like dusty hay, dusty bedding, strong scents too. So you have to kind of watch with like burning candles and using essential oils and stuff around them. And I also use an unscented detergent for their bedding just to be safe. But if in general, if they're lethargic or not wanting to eat, you should call an exotic vet immediately. And you do have to find an exotic vet because your typical cat and dog vets won't see guinea pigs. So I think that's pretty much all that I have. A quick Google search will help you find info on cages and the variety of things that they can be fed. There's all sorts of really good sites out there that'll tell you the pros and cons of different things. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for more of them in our library pet series. Have a good day.